Hi everyone. I'm Six Path Weeb, and welcome to my anime fanfic channel, where we dive deep into alternate realities, what-if scenarios, and everything that makes the anime world so fascinating. Today, we're exploring a particularly intense what-if scenario. What if Hashirama was reborn as Naruko and chose darkness? This is part 2 of our story, where we unravel the consequences, the conflicts, and the twists that come from such a shocking path. Before we jump in, a quick disclaimer: the content on this channel is purely for entertainment and discussion purposes. I do not own any of the anime footage used in my videos. All rights and credits go to their respective creators and copyright holders. With that said, let's dive into this dark and thrilling alternate reality. Time skip: 3 years later, Naruko age 13, nearly 14. Today was the big day. Naruko would finally become a shinobi of Konoha. She had been waiting for this moment ever since she was 6, when she had once cried into the Hokage's robes, feeling small and unsure. Now, standing in the bright morning sun, she felt proud, confident, and ready. Naruko had grown taller, reaching 5 feet 4 inches, and her appearance had matured beautifully over the years. Her outfit reflected her new status as a shinobi: a sleek black tracksuit with 3 bright orange stripes on each sleeve, a mesh shirt underneath, black pants, and sturdy sandals. Her spiky blonde hair, reminiscent of the Yondaime Hokage, framed a face that now radiated determination and warmth. She had worked hard, and it showed. Naruko was clever, brave, and strong for her age. Under the careful guidance of Tora, her Onbu sensei, she had grown in skill and confidence. Her chakra reserves were impressive, allowing her to use jutsu after jutsu without tiring, and her control over her energy had improved dramatically. Though she wasn't yet precise enough to perform medical ninjutsu, her abilities in combat and strategy had grown remarkably. Naruko had even begun learning Fuinjutsu, the art of sealing techniques. The Sandaime Hokage had teased her when she said she wanted to surpass the Yondaime, but he had secretly been pleased and agreed to teach her. They met twice a month, and Naruko's dedication was clear. Her handwriting had become steady and precise, and she could now create storage seals in 45 seconds, steadily aiming to bring that time down. She had honed her shinobi basics to near perfection. Her shuriken and kunai skills were flawless, on the move, in mid-air, blindfolded, or standing still. Her taijutsu, or hand-to-hand combat, had grown stronger and faster, enhanced by her own chakra. While she didn't yet match the legendary strength of Tsunade Senju, she could hold her own against many Chunin-level opponents. Genjutsu, the art of illusions, was another skill Naruko had nurtured. She had mastered 2 techniques. One created the illusion of a massive fireball descending from the sky, while the other conjured delicate, imaginary feathers that induced a gentle sleep. She had also learned to recognize and break some illusions herself, steadily improving her awareness. Naruko's ninjutsu had blossomed most of all. She had added new elemental techniques to her repertoire. Doten, Doryudan, Earth Dragon Bullet, a mud dragon that launched powerful mud bullets. Suten, Suigaden, Waterfang Bullet, spinning water attacks that could strike from all directions. Futon, Daitapa, Great Breakthrough, gusts of wind that could grow stronger as she grew. Her favorite, however, was Makuten, the wood style inherited from her lineage. It combined the strength of earth with the fluidity of water, and Naruko had spent countless hours perfecting it. She could now create wooden clones, form arm branches to capture or defend, build interlocking wooden walls, and even conjure entire forests in moments. Her Makuten was naturally strong, surpassing even her sensei Tenzo's abilities in certain ways, hinting at a future where she might rival the legendary Hashirama Senju. After Naruko's 12th birthday, Tenzo decided she was ready for the most important meeting of all, the encounter between a Jinchuriki and her Baijuo. Flashback: 2 years ago, Naruko age 12. "You want me to meet Kurama?" asked an eager Naruko, her eyes shining with curiosity rather than fear. Tenzo smiled warmly. "Yes, Naruko. It's time you set up a bond. You can't make use of all your abilities if you don't understand the Kyuubi inside you." Naruko nodded and took a deep breath. Sitting cross-legged, she formed the ram seal with her hands and focused her breathing. Moments later, she felt herself pulled into a strange tunnel inside her mind. Following it carefully, she eventually came upon a massive cage. "Hello?" she called gently. A giant, red, slitted eye opened. Another followed. And finally, the shadows lifted to reveal the massive 9-tailed fox. "So this is my Jinchuriki," rumbled Kurama, his voice deep yet curious. "Finally, you've come to meet me." "I'm Naruko," she said confidently, smiling. "I'm happy to finally meet you, Kurama." Kurama paused, clearly intrigued. Most humans just want to take my power, but your chakra is calm. You don't seek to harm. Interesting. I wanted to know you, Naruko said gently. You've been here for 12 years, and I didn't know anything about you besides the stories. Do you have a name? For the first time, Kurama's eyes widened. No human had ever asked him that. I do. My name is Kurama, he admitted, his tone softening. Naruko smiled warmly. Then let's get to know each other, Kurama. I think we'll make a great team. And so began the partnership of Naruko and Kurama, a bond of trust, courage, and friendship, ready to grow stronger with each passing day. Naruko couldn't keep the smile off her face. This had started better than expected. Well, Kurama, if I may, why did you attack Konoha? She asked, her face a mix of curiosity and determination. She had always wanted to know, since it never made sense that the Kyuubi would just attack out of nowhere. To be honest, Kurama said, his voice rumbling softly in her mind, a man with a Sharingan manipulated me. Just because I'm nearly all-powerful doesn't mean I go around destroying places for fun. While hypnotized by this masked man, he set me upon your village, until your Yondaime managed to seal me inside you. Well, it's good to know that you didn't attack Konoha on your own or that you're not a destructive creature out to harm everyone, Naruko said thoughtfully. She looked around the mindscape, which, to her surprise, resembled a strange, cozy room more than anything else. It is not a sewer, Naruko, Kurama said, noticing her shocked expression. And for why it looks like this, I cannot say. Though it is cozier here with your Makuten-infused chakra circulating throughout this place. It makes the air feel alive. Okay, as long as you're comfortable, I'm okay with it. Now, down to why I'm here. My sensei sent me to somehow gain access to your chakra. I thought we could work together, she said. You do realize that with your Kekkei Genkai, you could just take my chakra at will, right? Kurama asked, a little confused. I wouldn't like it if someone just took my chakra. I'd want them to ask first. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. So I'm asking if you'll lend it to me. Kurama paused, impressed. Interesting, he thought. From what I've seen, she's different. Maybe I'll give her a chance. And it would be unwise for a Jinchuriki not to use their Baiju's chakra. Alright, Kurama finally said. There are risks. My chakra is extremely powerful, too much for you to control safely at your level. Right now, you can only handle a tael's worth of it. Even if you could use more, the seal limits access. You'll need to earn my trust for more. Can't I just rip the seal off? Naruko asked. It's not that simple. The paper itself does nothing unless the seal loosens. And I wouldn't give you more than one tael anyway, Kurama replied. Naruko nodded. She decided to earn Kurama's trust. If he was there for her, why shouldn't they be friends? She was just glad to have access to his power. After a warm goodbye, she left the mindscape. Back in the real world, Naruko noticed Tenzo still waiting expectantly. She channeled some of Kurama's chakra and transformed, a fiery red-orange aura surrounding her. Well, what do you think? She asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Tenzo's eyes widened. Looks incredible, Naruko. But can you push further? See how it feels. Naruko concentrated, drawing out more chakra. A bubbly red fox-shaped aura formed around her, its tail swishing energetically. I feel amazing. Faster. Stronger. Full of life. She performed the snake hand seal and thought, Makuten, Jukai Katan, wood style, nativity of a sea of trees. Trees sprouted instantly, taller and stronger than before. My Makuten is stronger with this chakra. I love it, Naruko said, hopping and testing her newfound power. We should spar, Tenzo said. It'll help you control the chakra and not hurt your teammates. Let's go wild, Naruko shouted, ready for fun and training. 2 years later, Naruko and Kurama were on friendly terms. It was unusual, a 13-year-old girl being friends with a fox-shaped spirit of energy, but it worked. On her way to the academy, a kind woman greeted her. Hello, Senju-san. Good luck on the Jinan exam today. I'll be cheering for you. Naruko smiled and waved, grateful that people were slowly accepting her as a Senju, even if some still remembered the Kyuubi attack from her birth. As she stepped into her classroom, Naruko hurried to sit beside Sasuke. They had grown close since their early encounters. Training together had strengthened both their skills, and Sasuke's Sharingan was evolving with each spar. This is the day we start our journey as Konoha ninja, Sasuke? Naruko asked. He replied, his usual calm response. You ready? No flashbacks this time? She teased. Yeah, I'm fine. I won't let you outshine me, Sasuke said, smirking confidently. I could still beat your Rookie of the Year title, Naruko teased back. Sasuke turned his Sharingan on, preparing mentally. Kurama chuckled in her mind. Out of nowhere, a red and purple blur burst into the room. I win, shouted Sakura Haruno as she entered with Ino beside her. You only had a reach advantage because of your forehead, Ino snapped. You're just mad Sasuke wouldn't date pigs like you, Sakura retorted, both of them laughing and teasing as the morning chaos of young ninja life began. Before Ino could reply, one of the other civilian girls shouted, why would we want Sasuke when Naruko is way cuter? Have you seen those adorable whisker marks? Ino silently agreed and was relieved she hadn't said the same thing out loud. She had secretly liked Naruko ever since she was 9. But she wanted Sakura to become stronger, and she knew a little friendly competition could help, so she kept going along with the whole Sasuke rivalry, even though her heart was quietly rooting for Naruko. Ino remembered the day clearly. Naruko had handed her the brightest purple lilac she had ever seen. Her eyes had widened in surprise, it was her favorite color, and Naruko's own eyes shimmered the same shade of violet. Ino had discovered that Naruko loved flowers and anything green and growing. She even spent afternoons with her when Naruko volunteered at her family's flower shop. The flowers seemed to bloom brighter when she was around. And those eyes, Ino could never forget them. Did I already think that? Ino wondered, watching Naruko chat with Sasuke. Her thoughts were interrupted when Iruka-sensei entered the room and asked everyone to take a seat. After a long, earnest speech about courage, teamwork, and the responsibilities of a shinobi, the exam finally began. Iruka and his assistant, Mizuki, handed out the written exams. Mizuki was a man of average height, with white hair that brushed his neck, wearing the standard Chunin outfit and forehead protector. Naruko had always sensed a cold edge in Mizuki's presence but never mentioned it. She assumed it was just prejudice, since Mizuki didn't seem to like Jinchuriki. Naruko didn't mind, she was used to loving even those who didn't understand her. The written exam was simple, and Naruko did just enough to pass. Next came the practical exam, a taijutsu spar with an instructor and demonstrations of 3 basic techniques. Many students performed admirably. Sasuke landed a few skilled hits on Iruka, scoring a 9 out of 10. Kiba and Hinata both scored 8, Choji scored 7, Shino got 6, and Ino, Sakura, and Shikamaru all received 4 points, though Shikamaru decided to stop after his 4th point, knowing it was enough to pass. Then it was Naruko's turn. By chance, or perhaps fate, she was paired with Mizuki. Naruko sensed his overconfidence immediately, but she simply smiled. She loved a challenge. What happened next became the talk of the academy. With surprising speed and cleverness, Naruko moved like the wind, and Mizuki could barely keep up. She spun, leapt, and darted around, demonstrating incredible skill without ever hurting him seriously. When it was over, she had scored a perfect 10. Mizuki, stunned, could hardly believe what had happened. Iruka continued with the ninjutsu portion of the exam. One by one, students passed: Shino, Choji, Sakura, Hinata, Kiba, Shikamaru, Naruko, Sasuke, Ino, and 18 other civilian students. Afterward, Iruka gave another heartfelt speech about their growth and the responsibilities awaiting them as official shinobi of the Leaf Village. Finally, the students were free to go. We made it, Naruko exclaimed with a radiant smile, tying her black forehead protector around her head. The rest of the group, the future Rookie 9, smiled back, each in their own way. Even Shino, though quiet, radiated contentment, and Naruko could feel it. We should celebrate. Who wants to go to Choji's family restaurant for barbecue? Choji asked cheerfully. Troublesome, but I'm in, Shikamaru replied with a lazy grin. After a chorus of agreement, the group headed to Choji's restaurant, laughing and sharing stories. They knew that soon they would each be on separate teams with their new senseis, but for this night, they were together. Eventually, the group dispersed. Choji and Shikamaru walked to Shikamaru's house. Kiba, Shino, and Sasuke returned to their own homes. Ino and Sakura went to Sakura's house, and Hinata politely excused herself to her clan compound. Naruko watched them all go, feeling happy and excited for the adventures that awaited. Her heart was full, and she knew this was only the beginning. Several hours later. A few hours had passed, and Naruko wandered through the streets of Konoha with no particular destination in mind. The sun was beginning to sink toward the horizon, painting the village in shades of gold and orange. A gentle breeze ruffled her hair as she decided it was the perfect time to watch the sunset from atop Hokage Mountain. With a quick shunshine, she perched herself gracefully on the statue of the Yondaime's head. Naruko felt calm and content. The warm light of the setting sun made her heart feel light, and for a moment, nothing else mattered. After the sun disappeared behind the mountains, she decided to head home to rest before the busy day that awaited her tomorrow. On her way, a figure zipped past so quickly that Naruko nearly bumped into them. She turned around to apologize, only to notice the shinobi hadn't slowed down at all. Wait a minute. That's Mizuki-sensei. Where could he be rushing off to? And is that a scroll on his back? It looks familiar. Where have I seen that before? Naruko thought, her curiosity piqued. Then it clicked, the Hokage's Scroll of Seals. A precious scroll that contained many secret techniques, most of which were forbidden. But why would Mizuki be carrying it? Why would Mizuki leave the village with that scroll, something only the Hokage is allowed to touch? He's stealing it, and you're just standing there wondering what's going on, said Kurama, her loyal companion, in an irritated voice. Naruko looked a bit guilty but acted quickly. She created a Moku Bunshine, a wooden clone, and instructed it to alert the Hokage. With that taken care of, Naruko sprinted after Mizuki to stop him. Forest near the edge of Konoha. Mizuki had never been happier. Finally, the forbidden scroll was in his possession. Soon, he thought, he could deliver it to Orochimaru and gain all the power he had dreamed of. But his excitement faltered when he spotted a familiar figure standing in his path. Naruko, he said with a hint of disbelief. This night just got interesting, Mizuki replied with a mischievous grin. It seems fate enjoys toying with me, of all the people, you show up just before I leave. How delightful. Naruko's expression didn't change. She calmly asked, Mizuki, why did you take the Hokage's scroll? For power? Or for someone else? Mizuki's eyes widened at her calmness, but he chuckled, replying, Lord Orochimaru ordered me to retrieve it. He promised me strength beyond imagination if I succeeded. I could finally show everyone that I'm strong. Naruko narrowed her eyes. Orochimaru. One of Konoha's biggest threats. That's a mistake you cannot afford, Mizuki. Before Mizuki could react, Naruko performed a series of rapid hand signs. With a soft thud, a large mud wall sprang up behind him, surprising him at her skill. Doten, Doryuki, Earth style, mud wall, she declared confidently. Mizuki stumbled back but quickly recovered, brandishing a kunai. Naruko met him with her own kunai, their blades clashing with a ringing sound. Though Mizuki was physically stronger, Naruko's agility and cleverness gave her the edge. With a swift movement, she created a water bullet and sent it hurtling toward him. The attack knocked Mizuki off balance, and he landed hard against the mud wall. As he scrambled to rise, Naruko used the opportunity to approach calmly and capture the scroll. Mizuki groaned in frustration, but she gently restrained him, tying him up carefully to prevent further trouble. Then, with a shunshine, she carried both Mizuki and the scroll back to the Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower. Hiruzen-sama looked up from his desk as Naruko entered. She reported the situation with clarity and calm. The Hokage visibly relaxed when he realized Naruko's clone had already helped secure the situation, though he still sent Anbu to ensure the scroll's safe return. Naruko landed smoothly, placing the scroll on the desk. I caught Mizuki, Gigi, and returned the scroll safely. Orochimaru was involved, though. Hiruzen-sama's eyes widened at the mention of Orochimaru, but he smiled proudly at Naruko. You've grown so much, Naruko-kun. Your courage and quick thinking protected the village today. I am very proud of you. Naruko bowed slightly. Thank you, Hokage Gigi-sama. I'll continue to do my best. After the long day, Naruko returned home, plopping onto her bed with a satisfied sigh. Tomorrow held new adventures, but tonight, she would rest peacefully, dreaming of the endless possibilities that awaited a bright, brave ninja of Konoha. Naruko awoke today feeling amazing. Today was the day it would all become official. She would register as a ninja and then head to the academy to meet her Jonin sensei. After getting ready, Naruko set off with a spring in her step to get her registration taken care of. After a short walk and making sure she had her ninja face perfectly practiced for the photograph, Naruko handed her papers to the Hokage. Hey Gigi, she said cheerfully upon spotting Hiruzen dressed in his usual Hokage robes. Hiruzen smiled warmly at her arrival. Naruko seemed to bring sunshine wherever she went, at least in her own bright, cheerful way. Hello Naruko-chan. I see you have your ninja registration, he said, taking her papers. Well, Konoha Jinan, Naruko Senju, ninja registration number 012607, you are official and looking sharp today, my girl. Before Naruko could reply, she sensed someone rushing toward the door. Seconds later, a small figure came flying in, armed with a paper shuriken. The little kid had short, spiky brown hair. He wore a yellow shirt with Konoha's symbol in red, gray shorts, and a long blue scarf that trailed behind him. Today's the day, old man, he shouted as he charged at Hiruzen. But after just a few steps, he tripped on his oversized scarf and tumbled forward with a thump. The Sandaime sighed. Naruko, this is Konohamaru. He wants to defeat me in a battle to earn the Hokage title. Kurama, ever observant, chuckled from within Naruko's mind. That was the most awkward attempt at winning I've ever seen, she whispered. Naruko nodded silently in agreement. Konohamaru picked himself up and pointed an accusing finger at Naruko. You tripped me. I was this close to beating the old man, and you ruined it. Naruko tilted her head, puzzled. Eh? You tripped on your scarf. I had nothing to do with it. Just then, another voice cut in. Honorable grandson. Called a man named Ebisu. He wore the standard ninja outfit without the flak jacket, black sunglasses, and his forehead protector bandana style. Known as a bit of a brown-noser, he rushed forward, misunderstanding the situation. You scoundrel. What have you done to the Sandaime's grandson? Naruko raised her eyebrows. She looked at Konohamaru, who smirked, expecting her to bow or apologize because of his lineage. I did nothing, Naruko said plainly. He tripped on his scarf. And it doesn't matter to me that he's the Sandaime's grandson. Titles mean nothing, and even if they did, he'd still lose to me in experience. With that, she waved goodbye to the Hokage and vanished in a blink using her shunshine. In the academy, Naruko trotted into her classroom and settled into her usual seat next to Sasuke. Since she had arrived early, she decided to take a short nap. About 20 minutes later, Iruka entered to announce the team assignments, waking her gently. Today, you officially become shinobi. But remember, you are still rookies. You will soon be assigned duties by the village and put into 3-person teams under a Jonin sensei, he said proudly. Naruko barely paid attention to the teams until her name was called. Her face lit up. Team 7 is Naruko Senju, Sasuke Uchiha. Every girl who hadn't been picked yet stared with hope. Sakura Haruno. Your sensei is Kakashi Hatake. Yes. Love and friendship. Sakura cheered, pumping her fist. Iruka continued, Team 8 is Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzaka, and Hinata Hyuga. Your sensei is Kurenai Yuhi. Team 10 is Choji Akimichi, Shikamaru Nara, and Ino Yamanaka. Your sensei is Asuma Sarutobi. 2 hours passed, but Team 7's sensei still hadn't arrived. Sakura was fuming, Sasuke was calm but annoyed, and Naruko remained relaxed, even closing her eyes for another nap. Finally, a man with silver hair and a face mask covering his nose and mouth entered the room. His headband slanted over one eye. Team 7? After their nods, he added, meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. Then he vanished in a puff of smoke. On the roof, they found their sensei reading a bright orange book, seemingly oblivious to their presence. Naruko noticed his sharp eyes studying them carefully. Let's start with introductions. Share your likes, dislikes, dreams, and hobbies, Kakashi said. He pointed to Naruko. Go ahead. My name is Naruko Senju, she said brightly. I like ramen, gardens, and exploring forests. I dislike waiting too long for ramen to cook and seeing people upset. My dream is to become a ninja everyone respects, and to protect the village. My hobbies are training and taking care of my bonsai tree. Kakashi nodded, impressed. Interesting. Next, Sasuke. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I don't use the word dream. I have an ambition, to restore my clan. Kakashi looked at Sakura. And you, the girl? My name is Sakura Haruno, she said, peeking at Sasuke. I like learning new jutsu. My dream is to be useful and strong. I dislike being underestimated, especially by Ino. Kakashi muttered, typical at this age, heart and determination. Tomorrow marks the start of your team training, he continued. Survival training. Only 9 out of 27 will pass. Meet me at 8 in the morning. Bring your shinobi gear, and skip breakfast. With a puff, he was gone. Naruko pondered his words but waved goodbye to her teammates, vanishing with a cheerful shunshine. Sasuke stayed behind to train, and Sakura went home, both preparing for the big day ahead. It was going to be an exciting adventure. The next day, 11 a.m. The next morning, Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura arrived at the training field at 8 a.m., waiting for their sensei. Sasuke leaned against a tree with a faint scowl, clearly impatient, while Sakura tapped her foot, fuming silently. Naruko sat cross-legged, meditating and thinking over everything Kakashi had said the day before. A few moments later, Kakashi finally appeared. "You're late," Sakura exclaimed, her voice rising. Sasuke and Naruko shared a quiet, knowing glance. Kakashi raised an eyebrow and explained. "I was on my way here when a black cat crossed my path," he said casually. "I didn't want bad luck, so I took a longer route." Sasuke and Sakura immediately recognized the obvious fib. Naruko, however, simply nodded. She understood, who wouldn't take a detour to avoid bad luck? "Okay, it's set to noon," Kakashi said, pulling a small clock from his pouch and placing it on a training post. Then he revealed 2 shiny bells. "Here are 2 bells," he said, holding them up. "Your task is to take one of these before noon. Those who don't will not get lunch. Not only that, I'll tie you to this stump and eat your lunch in front of you." Naruko's eyes widened slightly, then narrowed with understanding. "Ah. So that's why he said not to eat first," she thought. "You only need 1 bell," Kakashi continued. "Since there are only 2, one of you will be left out. You may use any ninja tools, and I recommend giving this your all, or you won't succeed." The 3 Genin readied themselves, then scattered as soon as Kakashi said start. Minutes passed in silence. Kakashi pulled out his book and began reading. Sasuke hid in the trees, observing Kakashi with sharp eyes, waiting for the perfect moment. Suddenly, a voice whispered behind him. "Naruko, what are you doing here?" Sasuke asked quietly. "We need to find Sakura. I have something important to tell you both," Naruko said, her expression serious. Seeing the resolve in her eyes, Sasuke followed without protest. Together, they found Sakura hiding in the underbrush. Naruko started, "This test doesn't make sense." "What do you mean?" Sakura asked, confused. "Hurry up, we need those bells." "Think about it," Naruko continued. "A standard Genin team in Konoha is 3 Genin and 1 Jonin. Kakashi wants us to take on a Jonin right after graduation? That would never happen in the real world. The only way we'd succeed is by working together. This test isn't really about the bells, it's about teamwork." Sasuke and Sakura listened, intrigued by Naruko's unusual seriousness. "Kakashi said this test has a 66% failure rate," Naruko explained. "From what Sakura said, there are only 3 full Genin teams in the village. This test is meant to see if a team can cooperate under pressure. So, let's work together. And if I'm wrong, you can both take the bells, I don't mind trying again next year." Sasuke and Sakura nodded, trusting Naruko's judgment. With a quick plan in place, they moved to face Kakashi together. Several minutes later, Kakashi still stood in his spot, book in hand. Naruko approached him confidently. "You know basic shinobi tactics, hide your presence and strike from blind spots, right?" Kakashi asked, closing his book. "It wouldn't have made a difference," Naruko replied calmly. "You already know where I am. And with one I covered, you've probably created blind spots, but I've noticed them. Also, your test has a flaw." Kakashi, impressed, asked, "And what flaw is that?" "You expect 3 fresh Genin to show perfect teamwork," Naruko explained. "Teamwork comes from missions, training together, and bonding over time. That's impossible to achieve in just 1 hour. Your test is clever, but it's impossible for us to meet the level you expect. Unless we really cooperate." She formed a hand seal and performed a shunshine, moving swiftly toward Kakashi. He blocked her kick but couldn't hide his surprise at her speed and precision. She followed with a low sweep, jumped, and grabbed a kunai, aiming for the strings holding the bells. Kakashi blocked it but couldn't help noticing her determination. Then Naruko held the tiger hand seal. "Nihon Shoujo no Jutsu," she called. White feathers swirled around Kakashi, momentarily entrancing him. He dispelled the illusion, only to be struck by a flurry of kunai, carefully aimed and clever, but not harmful. Kakashi smiled under his mask. "Impressive, Naruko. You really understand what this test is about." Naruko grinned back. Teamwork wasn't just about fighting, it was about thinking together, protecting each other, and showing courage. And today, they were already winning. Sasuke had been mildly surprised when his kunai hit Kakashi. He had followed the plan. Once Naruko activated her genjutsu, he would launch the kunai to catch Kakashi off guard. Though he wasn't disappointed, as he saw the customary log take Kakashi's place, signaling a replacement. Shortly after, Sasuke heard a scream. It seemed Kakashi had taken out Sakura. Guess we go to plan B, thought Sasuke as he activated his Sharingan, noticing Kakashi behind him and engaging the Jonin and Taijutsu. Kakashi wasn't surprised to see Sasuke's Sharingan, he had read about it in Sasuke's file. However, he was in for another shock. After a few blocked hits and Sasuke's impressive agility, Sasuke managed to touch one of the bells. Upon noticing it, Kakashi immediately disengaged and slid a few feet away from Sasuke. However, he didn't notice the 3 lines of mud on the ground around him. The lines formed a perfect square around Kakashi, with the only uncovered side facing Sasuke, who was going through several hand seals as Naruko landed beside him, palms pressed firmly against the ground. Doten, Doryuki, Earth Style, Mud Wall, thought Naruko as the mud around Kakashi rose on all 3 sides, creating a sort of tunnel facing the 2 students. At roughly the same time, Sasuke finished his hand seals and placed a hand near his mouth. Katen, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Grand Fireball Technique, said Sasuke as he unleashed a huge fireball from his mouth that flew toward Kakashi. Kakashi was about to jump to avoid the jutsu when he noticed an equally massive waterball flying toward him. Naruko must have created that before landing next to Sasuke to activate her mud wall. Clever teamwork, thought Kakashi as the area inside the mud walls exploded with steam from the fireball and waterball combination. Steam continued to rise, obscuring the 2 genins' view. Once it cleared, they noticed no trace of Kakashi anywhere. Underground, thought Naruko, but it was too late, as a hand grabbed her and Sasuke, dragging them both down. Kakashi soon popped up a few feet away, his lone visible eye smiling at the 2. Doten, Shinja Uzanshu no Jutsu, Earth Style, Double Suicide Decapitation Technique. That was excellent teamwork. You almost had me there, but you didn't get a bell. Too bad, you would have been great on my team, he said, noticing Sakura charging at him. Seems Naruko must have woken her up while I was in that taijutsu battle with Sasuke, he thought. Sakura, unfortunately, was too weak to face Kakashi alone. But before she could reach him, Kakashi found himself in a full Nelson from Naruko. Due to the shock of Naruko's unexpected arrival, he didn't notice the kunai from Sasuke slicing the bells loose. Sakura made a daring dive for the bells while Kakashi remained trapped in Naruko's grip. It was all for naught, though. The timer went off just as Sakura reached the bells. So close, thought Naruko as she let go of Kakashi. Together, the 3 made their way back to the stumps. They passed with flying colors. But let's see to what extent, thought Kakashi as he tied Naruko to one of the stumps. He asked how she had emerged from underground so quickly. After she explained Doten, Moraragakure no Jutsu, Earth Style, hiding like a mole technique, he nodded. He then informed them that technically they had failed, since no one had gotten a bell, but because they had worked together, he would give them another chance. Since Naruko had attacked him first, she would miss lunch. He handed Sasuke and Sakura bentos and vanished in a puff of smoke. We were so close, said Sakura as she opened her bento. HN, agreed Sasuke, his cool expression hiding his excitement. We'll get him next time, said Naruko, wondering if she had misunderstood the true purpose of the test. They should have passed, right? Yet, they didn't. Was she wrong? Her thoughts were interrupted when she saw Sasuke and Sakura eating, and her stomach grumbled. To her surprise, Sasuke offered her some of his bento. We need you, he said begrudgingly. Without you, we wouldn't have come so close. Here, eat, you'll be weak if you're hungry. Even more surprised, Naruko looked as Sakura offered her portion as well. Sasuke-kun's right. You need to eat, so take some of mine, said Sakura, holding her chopsticks out to feed Naruko. Before the first bite could be taken, boom! A huge plume of smoke appeared, and out stepped an irate Kakashi. You dare defy my rules. I told you not to feed Naruko, yet you did anyway? What do you have to say for yourselves before I give out divine punishment? He held the ram seal, and the sky darkened with dancing lightning. Freaked out, Naruko shouted, because we're a team. And teammates look out for each other. That's what Konoha is built on, teamwork. Well, if that's all you have to say, then you. Kakashi began. The 3 genins closed their eyes, bracing for punishment. Pass, he said with a smile, as the sky cleared. What? Sakura gasped. Kakashi pointed to the memorial stone and explained, Naruko is correct. This test was to measure teamwork and willingness to work together. I gave you a near impossible task with rules meant to split you up. Had you abandoned each other, you would have failed, even if you got a bell. But you worked together, and that is why you are now officially Team 7. Remember this, those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. The three genins looked on, each with different emotions. Sakura fist pumped in joy at officially being a team. Sasuke smirked, cool as ever but excited. Naruko's eyes glistened with happy tears. This line would forever be engraved in her heart. They were Team 7, and nothing could change that. Tomorrow, we start missions and training to work more efficiently as a team. Be back here at 9 a.m. sharp, Kakashi said, disappearing in another puff of smoke. Once he left, Naruko wriggled free from her ropes. So, do you guys want to train? We still have the whole day, and we need more practice. Especially you, Sakura. Sasuke and I are more advanced, but we need every link in the team to be strong if we want to be the best team possible. Sasuke nodded, looking at Sakura expectantly. After a moment, Sakura agreed. She would spend more time with Sasuke-kun and become a better ninja, ready to support her team no matter what challenges lay ahead. Time skip, 6 weeks later. D-rank missions, chores, if you ask Naruko, were dreadful. Team 7 had completed 48 D-rank missions over the past 6 weeks. From walking dogs and painting fences to finding the elusive Tora, the pet cat of the fire daimyo's wife, there seemed to be no end to the little tasks that kept them busy. Despite the monotony, Team 7 trained together almost every day. Usually 3 times a week, sometimes 4, Naruko and her teammates would practice outside of missions, learning teamwork and strengthening their skills under Kakashi's watchful eye. Naruko hadn't changed much physically, but her determination grew steadily. She worked tirelessly to increase her speed and shunshine, perfecting her footwork and mastering her growing ninjutsu arsenal. Kakashi had even taught her a new clone technique. Since she had been keeping her special Makuten, wood clones, a secret, he showed her the Iwa Bunshin no Jutsu, rock clone technique, instead, which allowed her to use both her strength and cleverness in new ways. She had also advanced to level 3 in Fuinjutsu, the art of sealing techniques, learning how to attach explosive seals to her earth clones. Though the idea of surprises seemed mischievous, it made her clones even more effective in training exercises. Sasuke had been busy too, adding new fire jutsus to his repertoire. The Katen, Hosenka no Jutsu, fire style, Phoenix Sage Flower technique, let him launch small, unpredictable fireballs from his mouth. He also learned Katen, Ryuka no Jutsu, fire style, fire dragon technique, a spectacular stream of fire shaped like a dragon. Sasuke even delved into genjutsu from his clan's library, picking up tricks that Kakashi sometimes helped him refine. Naruko never asked how Kakashi knew so much, she just smiled and focused on her own practice. Of all of them, Sakura had grown the most. At first, physical exercises had been tough. Her body wasn't used to long, intense training, and she had been trying to diet in a way that made her weaker. But after Naruko and Sasuke encouraged her to eat properly for energy, Sakura's strength and speed began to flourish. Soon, she could run faster, punch harder, and keep up with even Naruko in endurance drills. Naruko quickly realized that Sakura had incredible chakra control. Tree walking and water walking, which took Naruko and Sasuke longer to master, came naturally to her. Encouraged, Naruko suggested that Sakura focus on becoming a medic nin. Sakura's face lit up with pride. She might not match Naruko and Sasuke in offensive techniques, but she could protect and support them in her own important way. Sakura started learning the Shozen no Jutsu, mystical palm technique, a basic medical ninjutsu. At first, she could only heal small bruises and cuts, but even that made her feel useful. With her new abilities, her confidence soared, and she began to feel like a truly valuable member of the team. Kakashi watched the team with a quiet smile. Each of them had worked hard on their own, improving more than he had expected. Seeing their determination made him proud. He decided it was finally time to move on from the D-rank missions. Their first C-rank mission awaited, a bodyguard duty to escort Tazuna, a bridge builder from the Wave Country, while he completed his work. It was a simple enough task for Team 7, and Naruko couldn't wait to see what adventures awaited them beyond the small chores they had grown so used to. Tomorrow, their real mission would begin. Dear YouTube family, this is all for now. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank each and every one of you for watching, supporting, and being a part of this journey. Your comments, likes, and shares mean the world and inspire me to keep creating and improving with every video. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can join me on the next adventure. There's so much more to come, and I can't wait to share it with you. Your support truly makes this community what it is, and I am grateful for every one of you who takes the time to watch and engage. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep being awesome. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.